Tom, are you okay?
I lost her.
Her?
She was gonna be this epic, trilogy-worthy character. I was gonna be the hottest writer in Hollywood. But I can't get past Act 1!
You need some writers group therapy. Hello and welcome to Writers Group Therapy.
I'm Tom.
And I'm Rachanee. We're writers helping writers. Are you ready for your session? The doctors are in. Pilot season. Are we late to the party?
Well, it's always pilot season nowadays.
That's true.
Yeah, because now I think all the streaming networks are still doing all their pilots, and they're constantly ordering new stuff. But we went through the whole broadcast pilot season recently, and as I like to do every year, I like to look at what was pitched, what was picked up, what they're going to actually make into a show, what was passed on, and which means they're not making it into a show.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of like some of the themes that you see, if there's any kind of trends and themes, and like we always talk about diversity, like how is diversity being represented this year versus past years and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
it's an interesting exercise to go through.
And what did you find out?
What did I find out? Well, just so everyone knows, I used the Hollywood Reporter had a really great complete 2019 guide to all the pilots. So I use that as kind of my main source of research. So if you want to check it out, we'll put the link in the show notes. The biggest things I saw, a lot of, we're in a presidential election year. We're coming up on a presidential election year, but we're already into the campaigns. So I saw a lot of things that were like kind of social, political issues. There were several issues with themes that were like class-based,
Mm-hmm.
race-based, multiculturalism, things about science and religion, several things about politics, things happening in with immigrants. Cal Penn has a pilot based on immigrants and pilots. I also saw one thing. A lot of the comedies, especially, or some of the dramas, but a lot of the comedies were all about, or not all about, but were frequently about taking care of your parents or relatives you didn't know. Like, oh, here's a sister you didn't know you had, or a nephew you didn't know you had, and kind of combining families, blended families, seemed to be a frequent topic.
But not aging families, not like aging parents, like 40-year-olds taking care of aging parents. It's more
No,
like, surprise, you
there
have a
were
twin
some of
sister.
those. There was at least one or
Oh,
two of
okay.
those too, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
hmm on the diversity front, pretty Asians are, I guess, or hot now, you could say, with Crazy Rich Asians and stuff. In fact,
Mhm.
there's one pilot that is still being shopped around. It wasn't picked up yet, but they're still shopping it around, called The Emperor of Malibu, about a Chinese billionaire who it's kind of like Crazy Rich Asians in the U.S.
Is that the one that's the Kevin Kwan
I think so.
backed one? Okay,
Yeah,
because I remembered reading something that the writer of Crazy Rich Asians, the book, not I don't know who wrote the screenplay, I'm assuming him
yeah.
too, but he also wrote a TV show. So, okay.
Yeah, so it's him being here in the U.S. and in Malibu,
Mhm.
and then the family coming over here, and so it's like a kind of switching cultures kind of thing,
Mhm.
and how that works out that way. There was one Indian themed, Indian as in the country of India, not Native American. That was passed on actually.
Okay.
There were two other Asian pilots. One was passed, and one was still potentially being picked up. The prequel show to Blackish called Mixedish was picked up. That's like about mixed race
Oh, yeah, okay.
relationships. There was one had a gender non-conforming subject matter, and one lesbian, which was actually the Batwoman pilot on the CW. They're doing what is it? I can't remember her name now. The Batwoman is she's has is a lesbian character. She kind of did a preview on the TV show Arrow. They did kind of introduced her there,
Oh, so it's
and
a bit
now
of a
she's getting
crossover.
her own series. Yeah, and the CW's shows have always had a no Batman policy, but this is the kind of their way to bring in the Bat universe
Mhm.
into their DC universe on the CW network.
Do you know for the 2, Asian shows that are kinda still being run around, the one you said past one is still in contention, what the plots were for that?
Well, there's the Emperor of Malibu.
No, not Emperor Malibu, the other one.
Um,
You said this is past the Emperor Malibu part.
oh, right. The oh, it's untitled. It was Jessica Gao. It was about a Chinese American woman struggling to deal with her family. You
Okay.
know, that was one of the family ones. But that one was passed over initially, but is still being shopped. And I think I actually miscounted. I think it was just those two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I don't think there was any others, and they're both Chinese actually.
Huh.
Hmm.
Interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting because I was looking at your breakdown, and so there's still not a ton of original pilots that got picked up. It's still stuff that's based on existing
Mm-hmm.
things. And it's funny because when you talk about diversity, you've actually got well, actually, you really got 4 tiers of diversity, right? You've got, um, like, racial diversity,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got, gender diversity, like,
Mm-hmm.
sexual diversity. You've also got age diversity because there's not, like, a ton of shows of that's why I was, like, asking, "Oh, is it about, 40-something-year-olds taking care of aging parents or something?" Because you don't really see a lot of that. And, I forgot what the 4th one was.
Yeah. Good question.
Yeah, I had it in my head and I just forgot. But it's interesting because we're still getting inroads on the racial diversity, not so much on the age diversity. I
Yeah.
think
There was one called Second Act, which was interesting. It was Patricia Heaton's new sitcom,
oh,
and she's actually gonna after she raises her kids and retires from teaching, she sets out to become a doctor. So it's
okay.
about having a whole nother part of your life and doing something completely different.
That's
That
cool.
was kind of a neat one, and and then that was one of them. There was another one called what was it? Unicorn. There's so many. It was
Yeah.
oh yeah, this was ordered a series also. The Unicorn is about a widower who has to raise two daughters on his own.
Is he an older widower?
Um, yeah, it's kind of It doesn't really say much about the
The
age.
age. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it doesn't have to be that old to do it.
Mhm.
It was kind of like how it was this like the second act is like a whole different part of your life, so you've lived your life a certain way up to this point and now you have to completely change your life.
Mhm.
So that was kind of a nice interesting twist. The unknown family one is the one that there were so many of. There was like the the siblings that don't know each other, the unknown nephew or whatever that has to go live with family after some crisis,
Mhm.
those kind of things. I'm gonna say it's not a fish out of water so much as a blending families so that you can see how people from different places kind of interact.
I was thinking Fresh Prince.
Oh well, that's a good
I mean, because
example.
that's kind of yeah, they didn't
Yeah,
know the family when he moved
yeah.
in with this family in Bel Air, but that's funny.
I was surprised this time. Speaking of Fresh Prince, nobody's remade that. There are three reboots that I saw. That's kind of low. I think usually they try so many of those every year. Maybe this is the year they kind of like gave it a little bit of a break.
They sort of saturated the market last year, I feel,
It was a
with the
lot. It's been
reboots.
like it seems like there were so many with Murphy Brown, and we did a whole episode on it. How many
Yeah,
there
and
were?
not all of them made it. Like, Murphy Brown, I don't think made it,
Not a lot of them.
you
Yeah.
know? So
But I'm excited to see NYPD Blue is they're trying to bring that back. I don't think it was picked up yet. They're still tweaking it to see how they can pick that up.
mhm.
And then FBI's Most Wanted is coming back. That was more of
That's kind of like a
it was
newsy-ish
kind of like a
drama
recreation kind of
creation.
show, like
Yeah,
recreating the crimes and stuff.
yeah.
And they always taught how many people they caught with those things because they would do that thing like call this number if you've seen this
Mhm.
person. So that's kind of interesting.
Huh.
Some of the other ones that were passed on that I thought were interesting. Katherine Heigl, her family drama was passed over. She started off on Roswell, which was remade this last year into a new show,
Mhm.
but then went on to Grey's Anatomy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and now she her family drama was not picked up. There was a Frankenstein show that was passed over, which is kind of
Really?
interesting.
Was it a
Yeah,
comedy or a drama?
I'm pretty sure it was a sci-fi drama kind of.
Okay. Huh.
Oh no,
Interesting.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a CBS had a Frankenstein themed one. It was a modern day Frankenstein in San Francisco. He was a homicide detective,
Mhm.
and he was brought back to life. Wow.
But you know, one interesting thing too. So this list that's off the Hollywood Reporter that we're talking about, this is only the broadcast network, like your NBC, ABC, CBS. This is
Right.
not including Netflix, Hulu, Amazon. And interestingly enough, we both just attended the Shape conference
Mm-hmm.
in LA, and when I went on the Warner Brothers tour, one of the things that I thought was interesting, they said that the Warner Brothers studio lots are open studio. So like Disney and Fox and all of them can shoot there if they want.
Yeah.
And they named off at least 3 or 4 shows that had been broadcast shows, didn't make it and then got picked up and were successful on your Netflix, Hulu, Amazon streaming
Ah.
services.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows, maybe these might get shopped to streaming because right now with everybody having their a la carte services, they need a ton of content. So who knows?
Yeah. No, and that's LA in general is about 95 to 98% packed. All the television studios are all filled with content being developed because there's so
Mhm.
much of it. But the studios, they need to make money regardless of what show's filming. They make money by renting out that space. So they don't care if your show's on a different network. They just want to fill studio space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how about for all of you? What shows are you excited to see in the fall? Let us know. You can tweet at us at WG Therapy. You can also find us online at writersgrouptherapy.com. And individually,
I'm Tom_Loveman on Twitter and Tom Loveman on Instagram.
and I'm at Rachanee Lumino on Twitter and at Moonlily Music on Instagram. We'll see you next week.